The Aurora drifted silently through the dark waters of space near Europa, its sophisticated sensors prodding the icy moon's depths. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck, her dark eyes fixed on the crystalline surface below. After 6 months of studying Jupiter's most promising moon for signs of life, the research vessel had yielded little more than technical data and frozen water samples. "Dr. Chen, you might want to see this." The voice of Marcus Rodriguez, their lead sensor technician, crackled through the ship's comm system. Sarah turned away from the viewport, already moving toward the science lab. "Tell me you found something besides ice crystals, Marcus," she said, trying to keep the wariness from her voice. The crew of 30 had been managing their expectations for months, but hope was wearing thin. The lab doors slid open with a soft hiss. Marcus sat hunched over his console, his usually relaxed features tight with concentration. "Look at these readings," he said, pointing to a scrolling stream of data. "We're picking up some kind of energy signature about 2 kilometers beneath the surface. It's structured." Sarah leaned in, her heart beginning to race. The energy pattern pulsed with an unmistakable rhythm. "This isn't natural," she whispered. "Run it through the pattern recognition software." "Already did." Marcus pulled up a secondary display. "Nothing in our database matches it. But here's the thing. It started exactly 3 minutes ago. Just turned on." Captain David Walsh's voice came through the comm before Sarah could respond. "Dr. Chen, Rodriguez, get to the bridge. Now." They found the bridge crew staring transfixed at the main viewport. Sarah followed their gaze and felt her breath catch in her throat. A soft blue light emanated from Europa's surface, pulsing in perfect synchronization with the energy readings they detected. "It's some kind of beacon," Captain Walsh said, his weathered face illuminated by the ethereal glow. "And we're not the only ones who noticed." He gestured to the long-range sensors. Multiple objects were decelerating from faster-than-light travel, their energy signatures unlike anything in human records. Within moments, sleek vessels of impossible geometries emerged, their hulls seeming to bend light itself. "My God," Sarah breathed. First contact. After all humanity's searching, first contact was happening here, now with her team. The largest of the alien ships, a crystalline structure that reminded Sarah of a nautilus shell, took up position directly above the beacon. A transmission burst through their communication system, bypassing all encryption protocols as if they didn't exist. "Greetings, children of Sol." The words appeared in perfect English across their screens, accompanied by a harmonious series of tones that seemed to resonate with something deep in Sarah's mind. "We are the Zerans. Your species has been watched, evaluated, and now, just in time, you have found us." Captain Walsh stepped forward, every inch the composed veteran, despite the historical magnitude of the moment. "This is Captain David Walsh of the Earth research vessel Aurora. We welcome peaceful contact. What do you mean by just in time?" There was a pause, and Sarah could have sworn she felt a ripple of emotion. Concern. Fear? In the harmonics accompanying the Zaren's next message. "Your species stands at a precipice, David Walsh. In precisely 37 of your days, your solar system will face an extinction-level threat. We have come to help you survive it, if you are willing to trust us." Sarah exchanged glances with Marcus and the captain. After decades of searching the stars for signs of intelligent life, humanity had finally made contact. But instead of a simple greeting, they'd received a warning. The implications were staggering. "What kind of threat?" Walsh asked, his voice steady despite the tension Sarah could see in his shoulders. The response came with a new set of harmonics that sent chills down Sarah's spine. "They are called the Void Seekers. They consume civilizations, and they have sensed your potential." The main screen filled with images that made Sarah's scientific mind reel. Vast, dark shapes that seemed to devour light itself, leaving nothing but empty space in their wake. Stellar systems reduced to bare rock and cold hydrogen. Entire species erased. "Why help us?" Walsh asked the question they were all thinking. What makes humanity worth saving? The answer came with harmonics that Sarah could only interpret as pride or perhaps approval. Because in all our centuries of observation, your species has demonstrated something rare, the ability to turn disadvantage into strength. You've taken your biological limitations and overcome them through sheer ingenuity. You've faced extinction-level events in your past and emerged stronger. You are adaptable, innovative, and most importantly, you never stopped trying to reach the stars. Sarah stepped forward, unable to contain herself. You've been watching us. For how long? Since your first radio signals reached space, we watch all emerging civilizations. Most destroy themselves. Some stagnate. A few, a precious few, show the potential to join the galactic community. But now there is no more time for watching. The Void Seekers approach, and we must prepare. Captain Walsh squared his shoulders, his voice firm. What do you need from us? Everything you are capable of giving, the Zerans responded. Your creativity, your determination, your uniquely human ability to find solutions where none seem to exist. We bring advanced technology, but technology alone will not save you. The Void Seekers have consumed species far more technologically advanced than ourselves. We believe humanity's greatest weapon is not your technology, but your indomitable spirit. Sarah felt a mix of terror and exhilaration. This was more than first contact. This was humanity's trial by fire. They would either prove themselves worthy of joining the galactic community or join the ranks of extinct civilizations. Send all your data on these Void Seekers, Walsh commanded, falling naturally into crisis mode. We need to begin preparations immediately. Dr. Chen, contact Earth Command. Marcus, start analyzing everything they give us. If humanity's going to face an extinction-level threat in 37 days, we don't have a second to waste. As Sarah rushed to her station, she couldn't help but smile despite the gravity of the situation. Humanity had dreamed of finding intelligent life among the stars. Now they had found it, and in true human fashion, they were about to face their greatest challenge yet. But if there was one thing humans excelled at, it was beating impossible odds. The Zeran ships moved into formation around the aurora, their crystalline structures catching Jupiter's light like faceted jewels. In 37 days, humanity would face its greatest test. But they wouldn't face it alone. The next 24 hours aboard the Aurora were a blur of activity. Earth's major powers had moved with unprecedented speed, setting aside political differences in the face of extinction. Now, Sarah stood in the ship's main conference room, surrounded by holographic projections of Earth's leading scientists and military strategists. The Void Seekers aren't just advanced, Sarah explained, gesturing to the Zeran data streaming across the displays. They're ancient. They've been consuming civilizations for millions of years. Their technology isn't just beyond ours. It operates on principles we barely understand. Then how are we supposed to fight them? General Maria Santos' hologram asked, her expression grim. If they're so advanced, what chance do we have? The answer came from Zix, the Zeran representative who had come aboard the Aurora. Their crystalline form shifted colors as they spoke, their harmonics translating seamlessly through the ship's systems. You misunderstand. The Void Seekers' greatest weakness is their technological superiority. Captain Walsh leaned forward. Explain. They have followed the same patterns for millions of years, Zix continued. They expect resistance to follow predictable technological progression. But humans, their form flickered with what Sarah had learned to recognize as amusement. Humans are anything but predictable. Marcus, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. You're talking about asymmetric warfare, fighting them in ways they won't expect. Precisely. Zix's form pulsed with approval. We can provide you with advanced technology, but using it conventionally would be suicide. We need human innovation. Your ability to use tools in ways their creators never imagined. Dr. James Wong, Earth's leading physicist, cleared his throat. The data you've provided on their shielding technology, it's remarkable. They use quantum fields to disperse any energy weapon, and their hulls are virtually impenetrable to kinetic weapons. Yet they've never faced a species that went from horse-drawn carriages to spaceflight in less than a century, Sarah interjected, an idea forming. They've never encountered a civilization that still remembers how to fight with primitive weapons while wielding advanced technology. General Santos' hologram straightened. Dr. Chen, what are you suggesting? We don't try to match their technology. We combine it with approaches so primitive they'll never see it coming. Sarah turned to Zix. Your people can give us quantum shielding technology. Yes, though implementing it broadly in 36 days will be challenging. We don't need to shield everything, Sarah said, her mind racing. Just enough to get close. General, how many nuclear weapons do Earth's combined powers have? Roughly 15,000. But their shields won't be expecting them wrapped in quantum fields and delivered by ships using gravity slings instead of conventional propulsion, Sarah finished. The Void Seekers will be looking for energy signatures of advanced weapons. What if we give them the equivalent of a cosmic rock through their window? The room fell silent as the implications sank in. It was Captain Walsh who broke the silence with a short laugh. Using our most primitive weapons of mass destruction, wrapped in their most advanced technology, delivered by physics principles we mastered centuries ago. That's exactly the kind of insanity that might work. Zix's form rippled with what might have been hope. This is why we chose to help humanity. You think in ways no other species would consider. But the nuclear option is only part of what we'll need. The Void Seekers will adapt. Then we'll need more crazy ideas, Marcus said. Lots more. And we'll need to implement them faster than any military project in human history. General Santos was already issuing orders through a separate channel. I'm mobilizing every weapons lab, research facility, and engineering center on Earth. Dr. Chen, we'll need you and the Aurora crew to coordinate with the Zerans. Captain Walsh, prepare your ship for immediate return to Earth. There's something else you should know, Zix said, their harmonics taking on a darker tone. The Void Seekers don't just destroy civilizations. They harvest them, convert them. Every species they've consumed becomes part of their collective. Their technology, their knowledge, their very essence, all used to consume more civilizations. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. You're saying we'll be fighting corrupted versions of every species they've ever encountered? Yes, and if they take Earth, humanity's creativity and adaptability will become their weapons too. The stakes are higher than mere survival. If Earth falls, the Void Seekers will become even more unstoppable. Captain Walsh stood, his expression resolute. Then Earth doesn't fall. Not while we have anything to say about it. Dr. Chen, get our best people working with the Zeran data. Marcus, I want every unorthodox idea you can think of. The crazier, the better. If the Void Seekers are expecting conventional warfare, we'll give them something they've never seen before. As the holograms winked out and the crew rushed to their stations, Sarah caught Zix studying her. Your species continues to surprise us, the alien said. Most races, when faced with such odds, fall into despair. But humans get creative when we're scared, Sarah replied with a grim smile. And there's nothing more terrifying than extinction. The Void Seekers want to harvest humanity. They're about to learn why that's a very bad idea. The Aurora's engines hummed to life as they prepared for their return to Earth. They had 36 days to prepare humanity's defenses, to turn their technological disadvantage into an advantage, to prove that sometimes the most primitive solution combined with the most advanced technology could change the course of history. Sarah looked out at the stars, knowing that somewhere out there, the Void Seekers were approaching. But for the first time since learning of the threat, she felt a spark of hope. Humanity had faced extinction before, from ice ages, from asteroids, from their own weapons. Each time, they had survived through ingenuity and sheer determination. This time would be no different. They just had to think outside the box, way outside the box. And if there was one thing humans excelled at, It was finding solutions where none seemed to exist. 20 days into humanity's preparation, the Aurora had been transformed. What was once a research vessel now served as the testing ground for humanity's most desperate innovations. Sarah watched from the observation deck as another test flight returned, the experimental craft barely visible except for the distortion it created against the star field. "Stealth system is holding," Marcus reported through the comm. "The quantum camouflage actually works better than we hoped. The Zaran sensors can't detect it at all." "Neither could the Void Seeker sensors, if the simulations are accurate," said Commander Patel, their new military liaison. "But we'll only get one shot at surprising them with this." Sarah nodded, making notes on her tablet. The stealth system was just one of dozens of projects being developed simultaneously around the globe. Humanity had never worked with such unity and purpose before. Old enemies shared resources, corporations opened their research facilities, and governments poured everything they had into the defense effort. "Dr. Chen," Zix's harmonics carried a note of urgency as they approached. "We've detected an anomaly. The Void Seekers, they're accelerating." Sarah's blood ran cold. "How long?" 24 hours faster than projected. They'll arrive in 15 days. The news spread quickly through the ship, but instead of panic, Sarah noticed something remarkable. The crew worked faster, pushed harder. Humans, it seemed, performed best under pressure. "Status report," Captain Walsh's voice came over the ship-wide comm. "I want updates from all departments. What's ready, what's not, and what we can rush." Sarah hurried to the bridge, tablet in hand. She found it crowded with both human and Zaran personnel, all focused on their tasks with intense concentration. "The quantum-shielded warheads are ready," General Santos reported via hologram. "We've modified 12,000 of them. The delivery systems are the challenge now." "The gravity sling network is at 60% completion," Marcus added. "We can have it ready in 10 days, but that's pushing the engineers to their limits." "What about Project Trojan?" Walsh asked, referring to their most audacious plan. Sarah pulled up the relevant data. "The biological component is stable. We can thank the Void Seekers for that, ironically. Their habit of absorbing other species gave us the template we needed. Once inside their ships, the engineered bacteria should begin breaking down their biomechanical systems within hours, using their own absorption adaptation against them," Six observed. "We would never have considered such a strategy. It seems primitive." "Sometimes primitive is exactly what you need," Sarah replied. "They'll be looking for advanced weapons, not engineered bacteria based on their own biological adaptations." Commander Patel spoke up from his station. "The dummy fleet is ready. Solar-powered drones designed to look like our most advanced ships. While they're busy dealing with those, the stealth ships can deliver both the warheads and the bacterial payload." "And the last resort?" Walsh asked quietly. Everyone fell silent. The last resort was exactly that. A plan so desperate they hoped they'd never need to use it. It involved using the quantum technology the Zarans had given them in a way its creators had never imagined, to create a localized collapse of space-time itself. "It's ready," Sarah said softly. "But sir, if we use it, we'll lose Earth's moon. The gravitational effects. Better than losing Earth itself," Walsh replied. "Let's hope it doesn't come to that." A junior officer burst onto the bridge. "Captain, we're picking up a transmission. It's from the Void Seekers." The message appeared on their screens, accompanied by discordant harmonics that made Sarah's teeth ache. "We see you preparing. Your efforts are futile. Your species will join our collective. Your creativity will serve our purpose. Resistance only determines the order in which you are harvested. Submit, and your absorption will be painless." Captain Walsh's response was immediate. "Send them our reply." Sarah couldn't help but smile as humanity's response was transmitted. A single image, thousands of years old, the famous "come and take it" flag from ancient Earth history. "They won't understand the reference," Six observed. "They will soon enough," Walsh said. Status of the civilian evacuation. Underground shelters are at 85% capacity, Commander Patel reported. The lunar bases are fully stocked. Mars colony is ready to operate independently if necessary. Sarah looked around the bridge at the mix of humans and Zerans working together. In just 30 days, humanity had advanced centuries technologically. But their greatest weapons weren't the quantum shields or the stealth ships. They were the things that made humans unique. Their adaptability, their creativity, and their absolute refusal to submit to extinction. 15 days, Walsh announced to the bridge crew. 15 days to finish our preparations. Every test, every simulation, every crazy idea we haven't tried yet. Do it now. When they arrive, we show them why you should never corner a species that went from cave paintings to quantum physics in the blink of an eye. The bridge erupted in activity. Sarah returned to her station, mind already racing with new possibilities. They had merged Stone Age bacterial warfare with quantum technology, combined nuclear weapons with gravity slings, and created a weapon that could destroy a moon as a last resort. What else could they come up with in 15 days? The Void Seekers were about to learn what humanity had proven countless times throughout its history. The more impossible the odds, the more innovative humans became. And with the fate of not just Earth but countless future civilizations at stake, humanity would either make history or die trying. As she worked, Sarah glanced at the message still displayed on her screen. Submit, they had said. They clearly didn't understand humans at all. Humanity didn't submit. Humanity endured. Humanity fought. And most importantly, humanity surprised everyone, including themselves, when their backs were against the wall. 15 days to prepare for the fight of their lives. It wasn't much time, but then again, humans had achieved the impossible with less. They arrived as a darkness between the stars, a void that consumed light itself. Sarah stood at her station on the Aurora's bridge, watching as the enemy fleet materialized at the edge of the solar system. The Void Seekers' ships defied conventional geometry, their surfaces seeming to fold in on themselves in ways that hurt to look at. All stations report ready, Captain Walsh announced, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment. Begin Operation Trojan. Across the solar system, humanity's apparent defense fleet moved into position. Thousands of automated drones designed to look like Earth's most advanced warships. Behind them, hidden by quantum camouflage, the real fleet waited. They're scanning us, Marcus reported from his station. Reading standard response patterns. Looks like they're buying it. The Void Seekers' response came as expected. Their fleet split into attack formations, moving to engage what they thought was humanity's main defense force. Their weapons were beyond anything Earth had ever seen, converting matter itself into energy as they fired. First wave of drones is engaging, Commander Patel announced. Quantum shielding is holding. They're completely focused on the decoys. Sarah watched the tactical display as the battle unfolded. The Void Seekers were destroying the drone fleet with terrifying efficiency, but that was exactly what they wanted. Each destroyed drone released a cloud of engineered bacteria, invisible to their sensors. Phase 1 complete, Sarah reported. Bacterial dispersal at optimum levels. Moving to Phase 2. Captain Walsh nodded. Launch the gravity slings. Across the solar system, carefully positioned stations activated, creating a complex network of gravitational corridors. To the Void Seekers' advanced sensors, they would appear as mere gravitational anomalies. Natural phenomenon, not worth noting. Launching payloads, General Santos announced from Earth Command. Thousands of modified nuclear weapons entered the gravity sling network, their quantum shielding making them virtually invisible. The Void Seekers, busy destroying the drone fleet, never saw them coming. The first detonations caught them completely by surprise. Nuclear fire, wrapped in quantum fields that prevented dispersal, bloomed across their fleet. Ships that could shrug off energy weapons found themselves torn apart by properly directed primitive force. Direct hits on 60% of their front line, Marcus called out. They're adapting, shifting their shields too. He never finished the sentence. The Void Seeker's response was immediate and devastating. A wave of what looked like liquid darkness swept through space, absorbing everything in its path. Early count shows we lost 30% of our actual fleet, Commander Patul reported grimly. But the bacteria, it's working. Look. On the tactical display, several of the Void Seeker ships were showing signs of distress. Their impossible geometries were becoming more regular, their movements less coordinated. Their biomechanical systems are breaking down, Sarah confirmed, checking her readings. The bacteria are rewriting their base code, just as designed. But they're adapting faster than we predicted. We have maybe an hour before they develop an immunity. Then we move to Phase 3, Walsh ordered. All ships, execute Protocol Omega. This was the moment they'd prepared for. Across the battlefield, quantum-equipped ships activated their special modifications. The laws of physics began to warp around them in ways that made Sarah's head spin. They're trying to predict our attack patterns, Marcus reported. But the quantum fluctuations, they can't lock onto anything. Their targeting systems are completely confused. The battle descended into chaos, exactly as planned. Human ships, using technology in ways its Zeran creators had never imagined, danced through space in patterns that defied prediction. Each movement was calculated to seem random, to exploit the Void Seeker's reliance on pattern recognition. But the enemy was far from defeated. A massive ship, larger than all the others, emerged from the fleet's center. Its surface rippled with the absorbed essence of 1,000 civilizations. Energy spike, Marcus shouted. They're charging something big. All ships, clear the center field, Walsh ordered. Initiate last resort protocols. Sarah's hands flew across her console, entering the final calculations. They had hoped to avoid this, but the Void Seekers had left them no choice. Lunar charges armed, she reported. Quantum field generators at maximum capacity. The enemy super weapon fired. A beam of pure entropy that would have unmade everything in its path. But it never reached its target. The space between the beam and Earth's fleet simply ceased to exist. The quantum charges planted on the moon detonated in sequence, creating a cascading collapse of space-time itself. A localized singularity formed, drawing in the enemy's attack and a significant portion of their fleet. Moon's structural integrity at 40% and falling. Sarah reported, watching in horror and awe as Earth's only satellite began to break apart. Gravitational effects beginning to cascade. Now, Walsh ordered, all ships, hit them with everything we have left. The remaining human fleet emerged from quantum camouflage, weapons blazing. Nuclear fire, quantum-enhanced kinetic weapons, and engineered bacteria all struck at once. The Void Seekers, their formations disrupted by the spatial anomaly, and their biomechanical systems compromised, couldn't coordinate an effective defense. The battle raged for hours, but in the end, humanity's desperate gambit paid off. The Void Seekers' fleet, for the first time in their ancient history, was forced to retreat. As the last enemy ships flood into deep space, Sarah finally allowed herself to breathe. The cost had been enormous. The moon was partially destroyed. Earth's oceans would be in chaos for years, and thousands had died. But humanity had done the impossible. They had driven back an enemy that had never known defeat. They'll be back, Six observed, their harmonics carrying both worry and admiration. They'll adapt to everything we use today. Then we'll come up with something new, Sarah replied, watching the remains of the moon drift in space, a permanent reminder of what humanity would sacrifice to survive. That's what humans do best. The bridge crew, exhausted but alive, began the process of assessing their losses and planning for the future. They had won their first battle against the Void Seekers, but the war was far from over. Yet Sarah couldn't help but smile. Humanity had proven itself not just worthy of survival, but worthy of being feared by the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known. The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if acknowledging humanity's rise from a primitive species to one capable of driving back the Void Seekers themselves. They had done it not through superior technology, but through the uniquely human combination of innovation, desperation, and the absolute refusal to submit. The real work was just beginning. They needed to rebuild, to prepare for the Void Seekers' return, to find new ways to fight an enemy that would never stop adapting. But for now, for this moment, humanity had earned its place among the stars. 3 months after the Battle of Sol, Sarah stood in the newly constructed Orbital Defense Command, watching the construction drones rebuild what remained of the moon. The partial destruction of Earth's satellite had caused unprecedented challenges, but true to form, humanity had adapted. The gravitational stabilizers are working better than expected, Marcus said, joining her at the viewport. Another year, and we'll have the moon's orbit completely stabilized. Though I have to admit, I never thought I'd be helping to literally rebuild a moon. The Void Seekers probably never thought they'd be running from a species that would blow up its own moon to survive, Sarah replied with a grim smile. The latest intelligence suggests they're still trying to understand how we beat them. Good. Captain Walsh approached, now wearing the insignia of Admiral. The longer they stay confused, the more time we have to prepare. The Zerans report increased activity at the galaxy's edge. They're gathering reinforcements. Sarah turned from the viewport to face the holographic display at the center of the command center. It showed the unprecedented cooperation taking place across Earth. Nations working together to implement the new defensive systems, incorporating both Zeran quantum technology and human innovation. How goes Project Phoenix? Walsh asked. Better than expected, Sarah replied, pulling up the relevant data. We've successfully merged Zeran quantum shielding with our more unconventional approaches. The new hybrid technology is unlike anything either species has seen before. We're not just copying their technology anymore. We're creating something entirely new. The evidence of this transformation was visible throughout the solar system. Quantum-enhanced defense platforms orbited every major planet. The gravity sling network had been expanded and refined. And most importantly, humanity had not grown complacent in their victory. The Void Seekers adapted to biological warfare faster than we anticipated, Marcus added, but that just means we need to be more creative next time. The new nanoviruses we're developing aren't even technically alive. They're mechanical systems that mimic biological behavior. Try adapting to that. A familiar harmonic announced Zix's arrival. The Zeran representative's crystalline form had taken on a slightly more humanoid shape over the months of collaboration. Just as humans had begun incorporating some Zeran mannerisms into their behavior, both species were learning from each other. The Council has reached a decision, Zix announced. In light of humanity's achievement, Earth is being offered full membership in the Galactic Alliance. You would be the youngest species ever admitted. That was fast, Walsh observed. I thought the evaluation period was supposed to last centuries. Circumstances changed when you did the impossible, Zix replied. No species has ever driven back the Void Seekers, let alone done it on their first encounter. The Alliance recognizes that humanity brings unique perspectives that we desperately need. Sarah couldn't help but laugh. Unique perspectives? You mean we're crazy enough to try things no sane species would consider? Precisely. Zix's harmonics carried what Sarah had learned to recognize as affection. Your willingness to combine primitive and advanced technologies, to think in ways that defy conventional logic. These are valuable traits. The Alliance needs humanity's creativity just as much as humanity needs the Alliance's resources. An alert sounded from Marcus's console. Speaking of creativity, the first test of the new quantum tunneling weapon was successful. We can now theoretically teleport warheads directly into enemy ships, bypassing their shields entirely. The Void Seekers will adapt to that too, Walsh said. They always adapt. Then we'll keep coming up with new ideas, Sarah replied. That's what they don't understand about humanity. We don't just adapt, we innovate. Each time they come back, they'll face something new, something unprecedented. The holographic display shifted to show the larger galaxy, with Earth now marked as a full member of the Alliance. Humanity had gone from an isolated species to a crucial player in galactic politics in less than a year. "There's something else you should know," Zix said, their harmonics serious. "The Alliance's scientists have been studying the data from the battle. We believe we know why the Void Seekers attacked Earth when they did. They weren't just seeking to absorb another civilization. They were afraid." "Afraid?" Walsh asked. "Of us? We barely had interplanetary travel." "They saw your potential," Zix explained. "Your rate of technological advancement, your creativity, your adaptability. They recognized that if they waited too long, humanity would become too powerful to absorb. They were right to be afraid." Sarah turned back to the viewport, watching the reconstruction of the moon. Humanity had paid a heavy price for their victory, but they had also gained something priceless: respect among the stars, and the knowledge that they could face down even the greatest threats in the galaxy. "The Void Seekers will return," Walsh said, stating what they all knew. "And they won't underestimate us again." "Good," Sarah replied, "because we won't underestimate them either. And next time, we'll be ready with a whole new set of impossible ideas." The stars seemed to shine brighter now, no longer just distant points of light, but beacons of possibility. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, proving that sometimes the youngest species could teach the oldest ones a thing or two about thinking outside the box. The Void Seekers had tried to absorb humanity's creativity and determination into their collective. Instead, they had unleashed it upon the galaxy. And the galaxy would never be the same.